Hear that? Of course not, because a dead car battery doesn't make a sound. You know who does make sound? Your daughter. And if you miss her big game, she'll make plenty of angry, high-pitched sounds. Better head to your neighborhood Advance Auto Parts. We offer free battery testing, a 3-year replacement warranty on our Platinum batteries, and free installation from one of our parts pros. Advance Auto Parts. Let's get you back on the road. Most vehicles, most locations. See store for details.
The following program is a podcast1.com production. He started in a small town in Texas. Worked his ass off to become one of the most famous wrestlers of all time.
We're gonna take care of business tonight, and that's the bottom line.
And now he's dominating the world of on-demand audio. And he's doing it for the working man.
This is a damn good outlet for me to spew the bullshit off my brain.
Yeah! This is the Steve Austin Show. Unleashed.
All right, everybody, welcome to Steve Austin Show. I am coming to you from the mean streets of Los Angeles, California. I'm sitting in my office at 316 Gimmick Street. I got my laptop computer open. I got my iPhone on the table. Everything is on silence. And I got a 22-ounce Yeti tumbler full of Broken Skull Ranch margarita with about 5 shots of Patron Silver in that motherfucker. So I'm ready to go, rocking and rolling. Took a couple Alpha Brain on top of that, and it ain't nothing but podcast gold from here on out. What a day it was here at the studio. I got a lot of motivation from a guest I interviewed today who's going to be coming up on the next Tuesday episode of the Steve Austin Show, family-friendly edition. Now we're going to have to tone it down a little bit because there was a little salt and pepper in that language, but Mike Titan O'Hearn came by the office today, my house. And I've known Mike for a long-ass time. If you know bodybuilding, if you know powerlifting, if you know physiques, if you know YouTube, you know who Mike O'Hearn is. One of the strongest cats walking planet Earth, one of the best bodies walking planet Earth. And we sit down, we shoot the shit, we talk about the old times, some of the shit that he went through coming up as a kid, getting his chops up and being on over 500 magazine covers, romance novels, and getting in the trenches and grinding it out and building a great body. So I think you'll dig this conversation. If you need any kind of motivation, which a lot of people ask me for, or what I do in the gym, man, I tell you what, when Mike walks into a room, the positivity just explodes. I don't know that the guy's, sure he's had his bad days, but he just has such a positive outlook on everything. He works so hard at everything he does, it leaves an imprint. And so for me, sitting here with my damn wing and a goddamn sling, ain't been to the gym yet. So, and my doctor's already cleared me, and I need to get my ass back in the gym to train my left wing. Motivation was certainly dispersed here in great amounts by Mike O'Hearn. I think you're going to dig my conversation with him, and he's coming up next Tuesday on the Family Friendly Show. And heads up to Stacy, you're going to have to lay out on some of the bombs we drop, but we try to keep it, on the most part, family friendly. But this Family Friendly Show might have a little bit of salt and pepper on it, Stacy, so be ready. And for you listeners, be ready. It's family friendly for the most part, but things got going. And it was what it was. It was a great conversation. But let's talk about, as this motherfucking airplane flies by. I don't listen to my show. I don't know if you guys can hear this goddamn airplane flying by or not, but the sumbitch is bothering the fuck out of me. Would you get the fuck out of here, that goddamn airplane? I don't know why they don't make those little Cessna motherfucking airplanes use a muffler. It's like a hot rod that's running open headers. And I've never flown in one of those kind of planes. All my shit has been in jets. I would love to fly in one of those things just so I could appreciate how loud, or just come to an understandable knowledge of how loud those cocksuckers have to be when you're flying the motherfucker, because I hope that the experience inside the cockpit is not as miserable as the experience I'm feeling when I have to listen to that motherfucker at about 4,000 feet above planet Earth. It fucking chaps my ass. And I got so many of them flying by here, the studio, when I got my windows open, trying to enjoy a nice Southern California breeze. How in the fucking hell Do you expect me to win an award on this podcast with all the kind of distractions I got to deal with? I don't know that I can. I can't filter them all out, whether it's the lawn guys blowing, the mowers, all the bullshit, the kind of city slicker shit I put up with on this motherfucker. I don't know that I will win an award. But you know what? I'm not in it to win an award. I'm in it to entertain you and to get some shit off my brain and have a conversation with another human being that I happen to be curious of or dig or be friends with, which is why I think you're going to enjoy today's podcast. Because today's podcast, I got Hornswoggle from the WWE, Dylan Postl. I hope I'm saying his name right. Dylan Postl. I always call him Hornswoggle. Anyway, Hornswoggle got released with a couple other WWE superstars who we will address on the podcast that you're about to listen to in detail, and just got released. And I've been trying to hook up with Hornswoggle for, Jesus Christ, about a year and a half, and we just never have connected. So anyway, he reached out, and we got connected, and you're about to hear our conversation. Hornswoggle had a wonderful 10-year run, damn near almost 10-year run in the WWE. And I told him, I don't know if we recorded this or whether it was on the phone after we did the podcast. Hell, his run lasted longer than mine did. And he had a damn good run. He got over. We're going to talk about how and why he got over. And we're going to talk about his journey through WWE, his journey through life, and what he's going to do on the backside of his wrestling career now that he's been released from WWE. So I had a great time talking to him. He's a great dude. He's, man, this dude's funny. I think you're going to enjoy the conversation. And I'm just going to keep this open and short. I'm looking forward to you give me some feedback on the show. I appreciate your feedback from I asked you guys what TV shows I should watch on television or Netflix or whatever. And you guys responded by sending all your answers to questions at steveaustonshow.com. I've also been getting a lot of emails from you guys wanting me to interview different people. So, hey, man, keep the emails coming, whether you've got questions, suggestions, comments, or whatever. I read them all. I dig them all. I can't respond to them all, but I check them all out and send them to questions at steveaustonshow.com. Hey, man, let me take a little pause here. I'm going to drink a little bit of Broken Skull Ranch margarita. Goddamn. Now that is a tasty beverage. Let me see if you can hear these rocks rattling around in this aluminum cup. Y'all hear that? One more swig. Shit. Well, I'll tell you one thing. That's a damn good margarita. Broken Skull Ranch margarita mix. I think that's next on my schedule. Hey, fuck it. Let's take care of some business. Let's get into the conversation with Hornswoggle. Business is, I've been talking about the 5-4 Club on this podcast for a few weeks, and that's because I hate to go shopping for clothes, and that's a shoot. And if you're like me, then the 5-4 Club is your solution. Sign up for the 54club.com and have your clothes delivered right to your front door. Yeah, that's right. I said right to your front door. You can look good without stepping foot into a mall. You pick your sizes, you personalize your style and color choices. You tell the folks at 5-4 Club if you're looking for work clothes, hanging around the house clothes, or hitting the town clothes. You know what I'm talking about. You choose your style profile, classic, casual, forward, or mix, and then you wait for the clothes to show up. And swig a Broken Skull Ranch margarita because 5-4 Club won't break your bank. Where else can you get all that for just $60 a month? And I'll do you one better. If you go to 54club.com and use the promo code Austin at sign up, you'll get 50%. 50% off your first package. And if you want to change up your style choices or your colors, you can do that for your next delivery. And the best part, 5-4 Club also gives you style tips to show you how to wear everything. You hear what I'm saying? Style tips to help a brother out. They have made your wardrobe idiot-proof. So go to 54club.com and use the promo code Austin, AUSTIN, at sign up and get 50% off your first package. That's 54club.com and use the promo code Austin at sign up to get 50% off your first package. Hello.
Steve Austin Unleashed.
All right, here we go. Steve Austin here in Marina Del Rey. I'm talking to Dylan Postl over in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. You might know him as Hornswoggle. Dude just got released from the WWE along with Damien Sandow, King Barrett, Santino Marella, Cameron, Alex Riley, El Torito, Zeb Coulter. God dang, this came to me as a big-ass shock. Anyway, Dylan, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great. All is well in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Hey, man, let's piss on an icebreaker. Let's just get into conversation. I got released a long time ago from a company called WCW via FedEx and a phone call. So how did you get the news and how did you take it? Because I was going back looking at some of your YouTube highlights. You were in the WWE for what, give or take about 10 years?
It would be 10 years here on the 26th, 3 days before my birthday.
Dude, I thought you had a hell of a run. Tell me about receiving the news. Where's your head at right now?
That's okay right now. It goes, it could always be worse. It could always be worse. That day, I got the call at probably about 9:30 in the morning, and it hit me. It hit me like a bag of bricks. And the first thing that goes through my mind is, all right, how am I going to support my son? Now, I haven't been on the road for about the better part of a year, but the checks keep coming in, so the bill keeps getting paid, and it's all right. Now, how am I going to do this? How am I going to work this all out? I can't be angry. I can't be angry at the company. They let a guy that shouldn't have made it be the WWE superstar for a much better 10 years.
Now, why do you say he shouldn't have made it?
I can't be mad. Well, with my stature and being a midget and all that, I'm not the typical WWE superstar. And then when I was younger, I had major back surgery. 90% of midgets have, little people, dwarves, whatever, I prefer the term midget, have scoliosis real bad. So they have to have major back surgery. First back surgery I had, they never done surgery on a guy of my stature before, paralyzed me for about 6 months.
Your legs or your arms as well?
Everything. I had no feeling from about the armpits down.
Well, dude, what did they tell you? Is this going to be? Did they say, "Hey, this is going to be temporary," or did they say, "Hey, you're screwed"?
Temporary. It's going to be temporary. They then helicoptered me to Minneapolis to have surgery to hopefully fix the back for good. Then they cut out a rib, chopped that up, put a metal rod in my back along with the rib, fused it in my back, and said, "All right, he'll be good to go, but no contact sports and no trampolines."
Dude, how old were you when that went down?
6. I was 6 years old.
Holy smokes! Now, what kind of family structure did you have? Did you have two supportive parents?
My parents were very supportive at that time. I had the back surgery. 2 months later, we had a major house fire, lost everything.
Oh, dude!
It's the craziest thing ever. 2-3 months after we moved back into our house, then my mom, she kind of just left town. Haven't talked to her now in 22 years, but my dad and I are closer than ever.
No, so what was the deal with your mom bailing out? I mean, she just couldn't handle it, and you haven't talked to her in 22 years?
Yeah, the bottle got the best of her.
Gotcha.
To say the least.
Gotcha.
But my stepmom, I call her my mom.
Right.
She raised me through the hard times, through teenage life, and the hardest times about being a kid. As obviously kids know everything, teenagers especially. So I gave them quite the hard time throughout school, and but she always dealt with it, and she always treated me like one of her own sons.
Well, how was that for her coming into a relationship with you being a midget, as you say? Because I always give my stepdad a lot of credit because when he married my mother, I mean, she had 3 hell-raising kids, and he took us all in. So, so how was it for your stepmother, who you now consider your mother, just like I consider him my dad, to deal with raising a little person, or as you prefer, a midget? How tolling was that on her? How did she adapt and adjust?
I'll say she had 2 boys of her own. One's a year older and one's a year younger. And I don't know how our folks stayed together. We fought so much, and we drove them. I don't know how we didn't drive them apart, to be honest with you.
You and your brothers?
Me and my brothers. We fought tooth and nail. And
why? Was it just brothers fighting? Because you guys are stepbrothers and you're a midget. So how was that relationship? Are you tight with them?
I will say this. I'm tighter than ever. I have a niece and a nephew and my son of my own, and we're closer than 3 brothers could be. The midget thing never, I will say, throughout school, it never was, I was viewed as just a short person. Never never really got brought up as, a problem or something that people held against me. Nothing like that. I've always been very open and I laugh at myself, and I'll be the first one to make fun of myself, as the locker room will tell you. But so that was never a problem. The health stuff, for the most part, was all right. We fought. We fought like three brothers would do. But it was, it was a lot of, at times the fighting would get real petty, and, you don't deserve to be here. We do, that kind of thing.
Right.
So, like I said, nowadays we are closer than ever. I just went out to eat with them for Mother's Day. We all went out. It was great.
So the doctors tell you, hey, no physical activities, no trampolines. So when did you start pushing the envelope? Obviously, you're fighting with your brothers, but when did you start? Were you ever able to participate in sports? What was your childhood like?
I did basketball and softball. Obviously, I wasn't the greatest, wasn't the fastest, wasn't the most athletic, so that it wasn't for me all the time. I really enjoyed it. I started the backyard wrestling thing, which, as when Attitude Era was hot, when you and Rocky were on top, that's all we wanted to do is become professional wrestlers. Well, we were 13 years old and couldn't do that at that age. So we built the ring, and we just started putting together shows and doing shows in the backyard.
I heard a lot of guys tell me about building backyard rings. What did y'all build your ring out of?
It was railroad, like the railroad ties, huge for the corner posts. That, and then I don't know how the hell we put this thing together. Who got plans? But one of my buddy's dads got the plans for it. It was this rickety old ring that if you hit the ropes, two of the posts would start coming out of the ground. It was a piece of shit. Pardon my French, but God darn it, it was the dumbest thing we could have done. Looking back, and it was on sleeping bags pretty much. You would take a bump on the grass on sleeping bags. Yeah, I'll take any ring over that again. It was so stupid, but we were living our dream at that age. So in our minds, we were stars because we were having 20 or 30 or sometimes our big shows, 100 neighbors come around and watch our stupidity.
Well, here's the thing that's very amazing to me, because you're 29 years old, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So now all of a sudden you've been with the WWE almost 10 years, and now when a lot of guys be coming into their prime, you're out of the business. So you started so soon. When did you actually get any formal training? And it says here that you were trained by Ken Anderson. Is that the Ken Anderson?
The Ken Anderson.
So how did this come about?
I owe 90% of my career to him. So I was we were doing a backyard show, and a local independent promoter came out because he heard about the buzz about this backyard, quote unquote company, drawing a decent amount of people, and he came and invited me and a couple of my good friends to start training. So we showed up before a show one day, and Ken was there, and he started training us. And I was 17 years old. It was in August of 2003.
So how did he go about training you? I mean, was he training you regular, like chain wrestling, just, headlocks, reversals? How do you go about training a regular guy? Ken's about 6 foot, and you're 4'4", so what's the training process for a cat like you?
He made me, as well as anyone, like the other local guys that would do training before the shows. He made me bump around and take the same bumps and do the same stuff as everybody else, and that's why I think I've never wanted to be a midget wrestler. Like,
right.
When I was on the Indies before I got hired by WWE, I hated doing midget matches. I absolutely hated it. To me, I was a small cruiserweight, and everyone just kind of gave me the come on, man, like do the midget shit and get your stuff over.
So you're basically saying, so basically you're saying like the midget would be kind of more along the comedy line of work.
Yeah, and
you wanted to work regular style, pro style.
Exactly. I wanted to work regular matches and regular spots and do all that stuff. And everyone kind of shook their head at me like, you're an idiot. Like you could be doing a lot better and making, a much bigger name for yourself if you'd stuck to the midget style and got booked for that. And I didn't care. I was a wrestling fan, a professional wrestling fan at that age. And I was 17, 18 years old. So I was still a kid. I wanted to wrestle.
So tell me about the world's sexiest midget short stack.
Oh man, I was about 120 pounds, and I just had that moniker, man. And it was a name given to me by just a small promoter. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to run with that. Short stack. I don't know how that even got brought up, but the man, the myth, the midget was always the saying on my indie wrestling T-shirts. So I think I'll have to bring that back at Pro Wrestling Tees now.
Dude, how long did you do this before you got the call to WWF or WWE, whatever the hell you want to call it?
I was only working for about a year and a half, so it's pretty crazy. Like thinking about it now, like now that I'm back on the independent circuit, it's I never really had the hustle. I never really had to do that, I never really did it. I just worked the same, local promotions just to have fun on the weekends. I worked at Target and I worked the independents on the weekends and just had fun with it. Then then Ken calls me, leaves me a voicemail saying, hey, they want to try you out.
Who's
they? Were looking for a midget. Sorry, WWE.
Yeah.
I apologize. WWE was looking for a midget to work with Finley. Well, I called Ken back. He goes, here's Tommy Dreamer going to be calling you. Awesome. Tommy Dreamer calls me, sets up a tryout in Green Bay when they're there for a SmackDown taping. I bomb it because they wanted me to do an Irish accent, which to this day I still cannot do.
Me neither.
That's why they really didn't have me talk for a good 5-6 years. But then 2 weeks later, Tommy Dreamer calls me at about 8 a.m. I ignore 3 or 4 of his calls because now I think it's a rib. It's just one of my buddies calling me and saying they want to offer me a contract. Don't call him back. Finally, I get another call. He goes, hey, I've been trying to get a hold of you, Dylan. So, hey, is this Tommy? Yes, this, and you know how Tommy talks, all monotone. And Dylan.
Straight shooter. Tommy's a straight shooter, yeah.
Yes. He goes, so if you don't respond to this one, we'll just hire the other midget. I was like, oh, no, I'll take it. I'll take that contract. Awesome. And so it was off to the races. Well, then I started on the road right away. I knew Sean Davari. He was in WWE for a good amount of time, too, with Muhammad Hassan, and then Hassan left and he was there. But I knew him from the independents. He was with Great Khali at the time. He was managing him. So I get Dreamer then says, well, you're going to be riding with Davari. Awesome. First week on the road going to TVs, it's me, Davari, Khali, and Mark Henry in the car.
Jesus Christ, what a crew.
If there was a goddamn traveling circus, it's that. And it lasted, that car lasted for a good 6 months. Then we did house shows and stuff with that same car.
Dude, what did people think when y'all rolled into a Denny's or a Waffle House to get something to eat? You got Khali, who's 7'2", you got you 4'4", and the other guys. Did people just do a double take and say, what WTF is this?
We always laughed, Steve. We always laughed because Davari always said, we have a Taliban, a midget, a world's strongest man, and a giant. It's a traveling god-darn circus. We would go into these Denny's, and I would hold Khali's pinky, and Khali, this my son, brother. This my son. And then he would go to Mark Henry, that's my son, too. And we would go to the bars at night. Sometimes we would go to the bars, and he would lift me up under the armpits and set me on the bar stool or set me on top of the bar. We would just mess with each other. Khali, I don't have one bad thing to say about that guy. Just a nice guy. He knew his strengths, and he knew what to do to make everything work. He was awesome, and still always a good buddy of mine.
I got a chance.
Very good-hearted person.
I got a chance to know Khali a little bit. We filmed The Longest Yard way back in the day, the Adam Sandler movie. Yeah. And we were at the gym one time, at a hardcore gym there, and Khali walks in the women's locker room, and I hear a bunch of women starting out of the locker room. Khali walking out with this sheepish grin on his face, and I tap him on the shoulder. I said, hey, big man, next time take me with you. And the thing a lot of people didn't know about Khali was, because a lot of times he'd have that interpreter guy travel with him, but Khali spoke a lot better English than he let on, so I could actually have a pretty decent conversation with him. So he played that card pretty well.
Let me tell you, when we would laugh, because as I always say about, Tajiri and Funaki, Kidman would always say, if you're putting stuff together with them, you're putting a match and you're putting their stuff over, They can speak perfect English. The minute you want to get something on them, excuse me, I don't. And Khali was the same way. Finley and I would work with him. We would be talking about stuff. He would be bumping Fit around. Knew everything, where to be, what to say, everything to do. Minute Fit wanted to hit him with something. Maybe not that, boss. Maybe not. Maybe instead, maybe I just chop you. And I would look at him like, you speak perfect darn English. I know this. I rode with you. And he would look at me and just smile and shake his head. Nope, not doing. Nope. It was the greatest. He was a good pal of mine.
Hey, before I go back to the road life and some of the shenanigans you guys did in the bars, tell me a little bit about Fit Finley, because you got a chance to work with this guy, and this is a guy I hold in very high regard. I think he's one of the best workers I've ever seen. What were you able to take away or learn from Fit?
Fit, I owe Ken and Fit my career to, fully, to be honest. Fit went to bat for me a lot of times, saying about how they use me or don't use me, about how special and meaningful I was to the company. He saw a lot in me that even I didn't see. He saw how the kids just loved me, absolutely loved me. I was such a kid-friendly character, and they just loved me that he always went to bat for me, and that I appreciate that. Smartest man in wrestling. I agree. Fully go on record and say the absolute smartest man on wrestling, top to bottom. When it comes to between finishes and anything, he just has that brain that if you can't come up with something, or if he can't even come up with something, he'll say, give me 5 minutes, and he's got it. He's absolutely got it. I was with him and I, for 6 years straight, and it was absolutely amazing. No one ever will have that stuff, that opportunity that I had working so close with him, and that means a lot to me.
But I always told Vince, I told Vince a long time ago, I said, hey, man, your next world champion is going to be a guy that's about 6'2", 6'3", and he needs to spend about 2-3 years with Fit Finley. And I said, and then if he's able to spend 2 or 3 years with Fit and get inside his head, and Fit can just, to me, Fit's demeanor, his ring generalship, his body language, everything that he did meant something. He had a mean streak in him. Yep. He was all business and had a ton of fire. I mean, and his stuff was real. I mean, it wasn't manufactured. I mean, he was a shoot. No. And, he comes, I think he's second, third generation wrestler. I mean, that's what his family did. So, I mean, we all take the business serious. It's a work, but I mean, he took it more than serious, and it came through in his work. And he's one of the guys that, I know, Jesus, what was his, a leg injury or whatever that kind of stove him up. But I really believe that, and I mean this in a positive way, because I think so much of him, had he been 6'2" and a little bit heavier, I don't know how many times he would have been a world champion, because the guy could flat out absolutely work his ass off. You always think about him as that rugged, tough heel, and how good he was. You damn right, and mean.
And how, like you said, how rugged. But then working with me, it showed a completely different side of him as a babyface. And it was funny to me because when he first started babyface, he absolutely, I could see he hated it. Just because he finally was almost like uncomfortable with something in his life. Yeah. He was so good at being that heel and that wrestler. Then you have him, as this happy-go-lucky babyface, and you would just see it in the beginning. He just was, it kind of shook him, but he loved it. He loved it after a while. The smiles that we put on the kids' faces, and his son is working over in New Japan at the dojo over there, and he's doing great over there, and.
Oh, man, how old is this kid?
I want to say 19.
Oh, man, I'm looking for big things.
No, he must be a little older by now.
Right.
Maybe early 20s, maybe. But you see the guys, when Lashley was first coming up, they put him with Fit. When Batista was really starting to hit it on his own, put him with Fit. All these guys to really work with them. We worked with so many up-and-comers on the house shows that would get them ready. That's what Fit's role was, it seemed, because they knew he could do it. Like you said, you put him with Fit for 2 or 3 years, he's gonna be world champion. He's gonna know how to work, and that's the thing. When they work with a guy like Fit, they realize how to work and what works and what doesn't, and for what reasons.
Hey, man, so you come into WWE, and all of a sudden, you hadn't been in the business very long. You're doing the backyard thing. All of a sudden, you're with a major company. You're with the company. So what was the transition for you to just learn how the politics rolled and to fit in and learn about pay scale, pay grade, and just the whole business aspect of it? Did it overwhelm you? Did it take you by surprise? Or you just, hey, whatever you decide to pay me, I'm cool? Tell me about your business mind, how you acquired your business acumen within the company.
A 20-year, just turned 20-year-old kid didn't have a mindset for money whatsoever at that point.
Right.
Probably a few years.
And a lot of us sign that first contract where it's like, hey, man, just give me a contract, I'll sign it so I can wrestle and get paid. And so there you go. Yeah, and then you got to negotiate from there.
Yep. You see this money coming, going from working at Target in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and making barely minimum wage, and then you see what you're making, even a starting contract at WWE. It's crazy. It blows your mind. It absolutely blows your mind. And so you see that money, you think it's coming forever, and so you're a little, frivolous for the first couple of years, and then it hits you like, oh God, this might, you gotta watch your bank a little bit more.
Right.
But Steve, it's. I always thought I could go back to working at Target, and it would be completely different. So I never worried. I was never one about, oh man, they should be paying me this, that, or the other thing, because I had an opportunity that I still say that I should never have had, ever. And that's something that I always said to myself, like, it could all end tomorrow, and it now did, but it could all end tomorrow, and you can go back to being a normal kid from Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
But
so
were you able to?
I never let the money.
Were you able to save some money though? Once you go through those first 2 years, hey, this ain't going to end, and all of a sudden you think, hey man, look, I'm in this spot. I need to pay Uncle Sam. I need to stay off drugs, and I need to put some money in the bank.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you the thing that kind of punched me in the face was when I found out I was having a son. My dad sat me down. He goes, "All right," because my dad is very frugal. They call him the most un-Jew Jew in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, because he penny pinches. He'll cut stamps, unmarked stamps off envelopes to use them again. He is a penny pincher, and we all laugh at him. But he sat me down and said, "Dylan, the stupid purchases end now, because now you have a son coming on the way."
Right.
He said, "You have a son coming on the way. It has to end. You got to really take all this into consideration." And that's when it really hit me. All the BS had to stop, because now I have someone else I needed to support.
Okay, so tell me about a little bit of this BS. Did you get involved in the party lifestyle? I mean, you buying Mercedes-Benzes? What are you spending this on?
Useless wrestling. Because I was growing up, I was a huge wrestling figure collector. So I would eBay wrestling figures, old wrestling figures, current ones, just wrestling memorabilia, stuff like that, while I was working for WWE. And I was back home partying, buying rounds upon rounds of bottles and stuff for the bar, for my buddies at the bars and randoms. I never bought new cars or anything. I never like that, but just a lot of little things here and there add up. I realized at that point. Dude,
were you much of a drinker on the road? What'd you get into?
Oh man, yeah, to say the least. I never excessively, never got in trouble over it, but I back in the day, especially before Landon was born, I loved to have fun at the bars.
So what was your drinking choice? You a beer guy? You a whiskey guy? Anything?
Steve, this body isn't made off of beer. Come on now.
I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry.
Back in the day, Captain and Diets, and currently vodka waters.
Yep.
Because I say to myself, Tito's and water, there's somehow no carbs and no calories. But there probably still is. But I feel better about myself at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I enjoy a vodka water or a glass of red wine here and there. Sometimes a little more than here and there, but it's a lot more scaled back.
Everything in moderation now, correct?
Yes, of course.
All right. So tell me about your son. Your son's 6 years old.
Yep, 6 years old, going on 17. It seems some days. Looking me in the eye already. All he wants to do is wrestle. He loves it. He loves this business, loves everything about it.
Well, this question begs to be this question has got to be asked. I mean, when I was watching some of your stuff back on YouTube, and of course we've talked whenever I show up at the buildings, and you're just a very charismatic, very talkative, a very outgoing person. So then all of a sudden, when it comes to the dating scene, being a midget, how tough is that?
Well, when I was on TV every week, it wasn't as tough as it might be now, but then they also they realized that it might. Or I realized it might be for the pocketbook more than for the relationship, obviously.
Okay, but before you got into the business, growing up as a kid, I mean, how were you with the ladies?
Man, never. I was the ultimate friend zone relationship.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
It was never. I wasn't ever really. And it didn't matter to me because I knew it. I guess I knew it, so I never really got it to me. Let it get to me that much. I cared about wrestling, and I cared about my buddies and having a good time. That's all I cared about. And truthfully, like that's all I cared about was wrestling, and that's still my son. And then wrestling are my 1 and 2 still to this day.
So
it blows my mind at times.
So we were talking on the phone before we started this Skype, and you said, I asked you, I said, well, does that mean your son will be a midget too? And you answered how?
No, so when his mom was pregnant, we're about 6 months in, we found out they can do a test where they can see if he's going to be a midget or not. And sounds terrible, but I didn't want it. All the health stuff I went through and the possible bullying that I never went through the bullying and that stuff, that to a crazy degree.
Right.
But just the health stuff alone, I didn't want that for my son. I didn't want him to go through the possible stuff like that. So we found out that he wasn't. And it was a huge weight lifted off my shoulders, and I was very happy. I would have been happy either way, obviously, but for him to not have to go through the health stuff I did made me feel real good as a dad. And he's been in the 98th percentile for height and weight his whole life. And he was like 2 years old, and they said, "Man, you might have a 6-footer on your hands." And I literally, I said, I was cussing. I said, whatever I did to my dad growing up, and the hell I put him and my mom through, I deserve this. Yep, this is what I deserve because I'm going to be grounding him in about 2 years, and he's going to say, "F you, Dad, you go to your room," and it's not going to work. So then he'll get sent right to his papas again. He'll get sent to Grandpa's house, and he can discipline him.
So how's your relationship with your kid?
They're good for.
Has your relationship with your son changed more now that you just now came off the road? You said you hadn't been on the road, extensively in the past 6 months or so. So how was that relationship with your son?
I'll say the past year I haven't been on the road, and it's been probably the best year as a dad I've ever had. I've been able to take him to karate every 2 days a week, swimming once a week, just go on the weekends and be home with him for kindergarten, which I missed his first step, I missed his first word, I missed all of that stuff, but I didn't miss his first day of school, and that's what means a lot to me. I wake up in the morning every morning. I set him on the bus, send him on the bus to school, and he comes home to me, and it's great. Single dad life, I call it, is the best thing ever. I absolutely love it. And Kofi Kingston, we call ourselves Team Dad because we'll go back and forth about dad stories, and he has now his another new son. Congratulations to him. But he has 2 boys, and it's fun to go back and forth about. He'd be FaceTiming because him and I rode together for years, 3 or 4 years. He would be FaceTiming his son, and I'd be FaceTiming mine, and then we'd show them to each other. And they are best friends that have never met. It's like having a pen pal, but over FaceTime nowadays. So it's the coolest thing ever for technology. A technology can bring 2 kids together like that have never even met.
So you keep up with Kofi. Do you keep up with any of the other guys on the roster? Because as I've been away from the business so long, I'll call someone or someone will call me out of the blue. But for the most part, just guys kind of go in their different directions. And if you see someone, at an event or something like a WrestleMania, seeing Shawn or seeing Mick, I mean, some of the, my best friends in the business or Kevin Nash, then everything's, it's just like it was. But do you keep up with some of the guys still in the business on the roster?
There's a group of us that chat. Have a group, and it's a lot of them. I still, you have a lot of acquaintances, very little friends, and even closer, even less best friends. I have a good probably 6 to 10 best friends that are literally family to me, and that have always been there for me. And I hate to be that guy, but John Cena, he called me at 3:30 in the morning when Landon was born. it was the craziest thing ever. He called me just to touch base and see that everything was healthy.
That's awesome.
And yeah, he's been there a lot of rough times with me when I had rough times on the road and stuff like that. He's always been there, and always whatever I needed, he was there for me for. So
what kind of rough times on the road?
Just stupid relationships back home, and road life, just getting the best of me and getting into my head and thinking that, is this what I want to do for a while, or is this truly what I want to do when I have this relationship dwindling back home? Is it worth it? And he was always there and always said, that's that relationship back home. You need to balance it out and see, is that more worth it than your dream? And I realized that it obviously wasn't, and that my dream is to be a WWE superstar, and so I kept with that and didn't let anything else bug me.
Hey, man, one question before we go to a break, and then we're going to come back. I want to talk to you about life after wrestling. Now you're going to hit the indie scene, but let's talk about the adaptation process, because I call it, in my case, many years ago, going back to civilian life. But we'll catch that on the break. When the bomb got dropped, and all these names, and yours is one of them, gets released by the WWE, did you have an outpouring of guys from the company saying, hey, man, I just heard the news. I can't believe it. I'm sorry to hear the news. I mean, did anybody call you? Was there any support from your acquaintances or your friends?
So when it between probably about 10 o'clock and 3 o'clock, I bet you I had 50 or 60 different guys text me, is there anything I can do? It was awesome working with you. You were always a ray of sunshine in the locker room. It made me really realize the impact that I had, not only on the business, but on other people. It's not that I don't care about what I did in the business, because it means more to me than anything. I had a lot of memories on TV, a lot of awesome matches, a lot of awesome things that I've done. But the thing you take most from this business, and I honest to God mean it, is the friendships that you make. And that's so cheesy and so maybe, dumb and overly said. But these are guys that, now that I'm not with the company anymore, I will still talk to on maybe not a daily basis, maybe not a weekly, but I'll still contact with a lot. And that's the thing. It's like, that's what I take away from the business. And that affected me more. And that really made me stay positive, is all these guys texting me and saying that they felt bad, and if there's anything they can do to let them know.
But I'll tell you what, man, just, the call alone, and, when I got dropped from WCW, the phone rang pretty quickly. But, when I rode off in the sunset in '03, thinking, hey, man, I got to get out because of my health. And that was a shoot. But, there was one time I think I was talking to Vince. I was kind of looking to get out of the business because my knees were bothering me. And, he talked me into staying. It didn't take him much to talk me into staying, and it wasn't a money thing at all. It was just straight up, hey, I was kind of getting tired. But, when I got out of the business, it took me about 3 years to get over that. It was a crushing blow. And Paul Orndorff gave me some of the best advice I'd ever been given. Just because I needed to hear the words. And he says, hey, Steve, there is life after wrestling. And I said, there is? And he says, you're damn right there is. And so that's kind of where I picked my ass up. But it's a hard pill to swallow.
It's hard to think about it as, all right, whether you've been on the road or not, and I wasn't, but you've been secure. That security blanket of, okay, the check is in the mail.
Yes.
No matter what, that check will be in the mailbox every week, so you're okay. And now, whether you're going to be okay or not, working independence or whatever the next step is, that's the scary part still, because you don't know. Now the question is, okay, is the check going to be there? Is it going to, how long is it going to last? How long can I keep this up?
Well, here's a question. But when you get terminated like that, or released, whatever that you want to call it, you're no longer with the company. Is there a severance package, or were you an independent contractor? It just stops? Do royalties continue because you left in good standing? And so you'll get at least a quarterly? 90 days. Okay.
We get paid for 90 days after we're released from WWE. During that time, we can't do any TV or pay-per-view.
Are you kidding me? They released you, and then you can't do nothing for 90 days?
Because we're still technically under contract and getting paid by them.
Yeah, but they're firing you, and you're going to get paid for 90 days, but it's not like they just got designs on bringing you back. It's not like you're going to jump on a show, which is going to be in direct competition for them. So I don't think that's a great thing on their part to not allow you to pursue work, even though they're paying you a 90-day severance package because they've terminated you. I mean, because on a competition level, what are you going to do that's going to be negative to anything that they could do, compete with the Monday Night Raw or anything like that, when you've got to look past the 90 days, get rooted in now, and get some income generated? I disagree with that.
I can see that, and I can see it. My only view on that is they're still paying me for that 90 days. They're letting me get on my feet, keep up on my feet, and make a plan for what to do after the 90 days. And so it's not like they're saying, hey, we're done with you, we're done paying you, kind of go swimming, in the middle of the ocean. So that's why I don't mind it. I can still do all the independent dates I want as long as it's not TV or iPay-per-view or that kind of thing. So that's why I don't mind it that much. And
I think that's a positive. I think that's a positive way to look at it. Yeah, I've been gone a long time, so. But then again, I mean, there's no heat there. You never say never in the wrestling business, and leaving on good terms and staying on good terms, and with the positive outlook that you take. I mean, who knows? You could be back. Is it likely? We don't know, but it could be.
Never know.
You've got a good head on your shoulders. You've got a good attitude.
Yeah, and that's what I have nothing bad to say about my time in WWE. It was a lot of fun, and I was told when I first got hired, okay, this is going to be a 6-month run here, and it lasted just under 10 years. So I can't be mad about that.
Hey, man, let's take a break right here, and we'll take a break after the pause for the callers to keep the sponsors to keep this show on the air for free. I'm coming right back with Dylan Postl right after this. Hey, you got to give a shout-out to my longtime friend and sponsor, Diamond Dallas Page and DDP Yoga. If you are looking to change your life and get on the path to healthier living, then get yourself on the DDP Yoga program. Listen, folks, right now, Dallas is giving all you guys a great deal. If you go to ddpyoga.com/Austin, you're going to get the best price on DDP Yoga, and you get 3 free months of the DDP Yoga Now app. And it's available for iPhones and Android, and this app has everything. This thing has been well thought out and applicated. You can get all your applicated. You see what I did there? Big word, badass word. How many times you hear applicated? That's how badass the app is. You can get all the DDP Yoga workouts right from your phone or tablet. You can do live workouts from the DDP Yoga Performance Center. You can access recipes, cooking demonstrations, and nutrition guides. And you can motivate yourself by watching some of the incredible testimonial videos and stories. Applicated, and you can do it all from your phone. DDP has also got a rewards program built into the app, too. You get points for the yoga that you do, and then you can redeem those points for special rewards and DDP merchandise. Hey, DDP, my buddy Dallas, is giving you everything you need to get on a path to healthier living, and he's making it as easy as possible. So get the DDP Yoga program at ddpyoga.com/Austin and take advantage of the 3 free months of the DDP Yoga Now app. It's like Dallas always says, all you got to do is commit. So make that commitment now at ddpyoga.com/Austin. You will not regret it. Commit now. DDP Yoga. Hey, we've all had those times when we need a little extra money. And I got a real easy way that you can earn that money. Drive with Uber. I know you guys know about Uber, and I know most of you have the Uber app on your smartphones already. Technology, hello. But did you know that Uber and the Uber app can help you make extra money driving your own car? And the best thing about driving with Uber is that it's totally flexible. You make your own schedule. You decide when you want to drive and for how long. Whenever you want to make some extra cash, just turn on the app and drive. You drive for a few hours here, a few hours there, drive for a ride or two. It all adds up to great money fast, and it's really easy to get started. All you got to do is go to drivewithuber.com to sign up for free, and you can do it right from your phone. Drivewithuber.com. You just answer a few questions about yourself and your car, and then you get approved. Once you're approved, you start driving. I told you it was easy. Start enjoying the flexibility of working when you want and earning extra money on your schedule. Sign up to Drive with Uber today. Go to drivewithuber.com. That's drivewithuber.com. One last time, and I will spell it out for you. No mistakes made. drivewithuber.com. All right, I'm coming right back. Here we go. Hornswoggle, Dylan Postl, just got let go by WWE. One of the things we were talking about earlier was your impact on kids. Kids absolutely loved you. And, well, everybody did it, for that matter, because a lot of the stuff you did, like you said, you didn't like to do midget stuff, but there was some of that involved, obviously. But you impacted a lot of people because anytime, or most of the times, as a babyface, everybody in that arena was smiling. And the kids were having a great time. What are some of your favorite moments that you hold in high regard from your run in WWE? Because I really thought you had so many high spots. I don't know which one I'd pick.
I appreciate that. I realized when I got hired, I was getting hired for my stature. So all of my thoughts about hating to do midget spots and hating to do ha-ha and all that kind of had to go out the window. But then when I was working with Fit, he didn't want me to do that stuff. He wanted me to be almost like a smaller version of him, just rugged and mean and nasty. So that was fine with me because I didn't have to do the ha-ha. But then we realized how much the kids loved me, and I was doing the comedy and that stuff, which was still fine because I enjoyed every bit of it. First thing that probably sticks out is working with Hunter and Sean. Like I said, I'm an avid wrestling fan since I was 4 years old, and obviously the Attitude Era, DX was on top of that along with you and Rock. So then Hunter comes up to me one day and says, "Hey, we've noticed the kids really like you." And I go, "Yeah?" He goes, "Yeah. I told Sean the kids really love him." And Sean goes, "Yeah. He goes, "What if we make him a part of DX?" Sean goes, "Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, the kids really do like him." And he came up to me and I said, "You're going to be part of DX now." And I just about crapped my pants because now I get to work with two guys I've watched for years. And for about, the better part of 6 to 9 months, I was part of DX, and it was awesome. It was so much fun every night being a part of that and being able to be around them and pick their brains about, random stuff.
DX was super hot, and those guys had a great act and then great chemistry off each other. Did you get a chance to get inside Triple H's head or Sean's head and learn anything from those guys that you would be able to apply, or just the way they handled the business as a professional?
That, I was always very, very, I don't know the word, but I would always go to Sean more than Hunter about random questions because I never, maybe a bit intimidated because of where Hunter was at in the company, obviously. But I would be asking him things, random things like about stuff he did in the company, and all the years of wrestling that he would kind of tell me about and talk to me about. And I learned a lot from just working with them about where stuff goes and why it goes there, and how it all makes sense. And if there's two to learn from under Fit, it's Hunter and Sean as well. So.
Yeah, Sean had kind of a different, a similar mindset to Fit, extremely athletic. Fit is one of a kind, but Shawn Michaels, I think, is probably the greatest in-ring performer. As just
best of all time.
Someone who's able to do everything. I put him really number one on my list, just as in-ring performers. Now, Flair's my favorite pro wrestler, but as far as someone that can do everything and never blow anything and always remember everything at the highest level or house show level, Shawn Michaels is the number one guy.
That always blew my mind, even on house shows, how much energy he always had in those matches. It was, we'd be day 10 in one of these overseas tours, and it'd be just like day 1, where he was hurting. We all, obviously he was hurting from the years on the road, but he just had the energy all night. He killed it every match.
Hey, we all had a favorite wrestler. Again, mine was Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Dusty Rhodes is in that mix. So I've got my guys, Steamboat. In your list, who was the guy that you really liked? Who's your favorite wrestler?
The one that got me into the business was the greatest wrestling technician of all time, the Ultimate Warrior.
Was that who got you into business?
Ultimate Warrior. He was my hero growing up. I absolutely loved him.
What did you like about him? Because I'm good friends with Zach Wilde of Black Label Society, and man, he's the biggest Ultimate Warrior fan, just like you. And, just because of the energy and everything that he brought. Was that the same thing that captivated you?
That was it, the energy. There was no better entrance in history than the Ultimate Warrior.
I agree.
I'll go. It was the greatest between the music and that guitar riff and that face paint and the tassels and the gear. It was the greatest. I hated Hogan. Growing up.
Really?
And not because he was just too white meat for me. He was just a guy in a ripped shirt and a bandana and a silly mustache in my mind. But my guy, Ultimate Warrior, had face paint. Your guy didn't wear face paint or tassels. My guy did, and it was, looking back on it, it's silly to think about. But man, I was the fanatic. So at WrestleMania 30, when Funny was going to Hall of Fame, I finally got to meet him, and it was a dream come true. I got to talk to him and his wife about what the impact he had on me growing up and all that stuff, and I got my picture taken with him. And the artist Rob Schamberger, he does a lot of WWE stuff now, a lot of the paintings. He surprised me a couple weeks later with a painting of the picture of me and Warrior that I have in my living room. So it's pretty cool that he did that for me. I didn't know anything about it. So when he passed away, that one hit me pretty hard. It's like your hero growing up passing away.
Man, that's amazing that Schamberger painted that picture for you. I was so mad at New Orleans at WrestleMania 30. I saw Warrior there, and over the course of a year, I'd talked to him. I reached out to him about 2 or 3 times on the phone, and it was interesting because, his name used to be Jim Hellwig, and he changed it to Warrior. Mm-hmm. So, I'd be, hey, Warrior. I was calling him Warrior. It felt kind of funny. I was waiting for him to say just, hey, Steve, you can just call me Jim. But he never did.
Never happened.
So my thing that I was mad about, at 30 in New Orleans, I was busy doing my thing, and because they were filming a documentary of him, he's going into the Hall of Fame. They'd patched up the relationship. He was so busy and had so many cameras around him, I didn't get a chance to go up and shake his hand and say, hey, man, it's good to see you, and you're glad you're doing good. Or we would find out he's not. But, back on terms with WWE, he's going into the Hall of Fame. It's just such a great moment. His wife introduced herself to me in the hallway. I got to meet his 2 daughters, and she was super, super nice. And I was just mad at myself that I didn't say hi to Warrior because he was so damn busy. And then just literally 2 or 3 weeks later, the heart attack in the parking lot, and that one crushed me too because you're probably he was your guy, but that one caught me out of the blue, and I just didn't see that one coming. I wish I would have reached out and said hello to the guy.
The craziest thing was, so I meet him at the Pontiac Silverdome, as Hogan called it that night. I meet him there, and then he does his Raw appearance the next night, where he kind of makes that final speech, what would be his final speech.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he passes away that evening or that morning, and it couldn't have been a better unintentional a speech. It really couldn't have, because it was amazing, and I wasn't a superhero guy. I wasn't a comic book guy. I was an Ultimate Warrior fan throughout my life, and so especially growing up. So when he passed away, that one hit me pretty hard.
Man, let's shift gears to another good time. You winning the WWE Cruiserweight Championship after pinning Jamie Noble in a Cruiserweight Open at the Great American Bash. How was that?
I had nothing to do at the pay-per-view that day going into it, and I get approached saying, "Hey, there's a multiple person match, there's a multi-man match tonight for the Cruiserweight title, and you're winning it." I go, "Okay." I said, "I'm in the match?" You go, "No," and they explain how it's all going to go. And I said, "I'm winning the Cruiserweight title." They go, "Yeah." Whew, here we go. And it was awesome. Again, I should have never been a WWE superstar, and now I'm Cruiserweight champion. And it goes down as the last Cruiserweight champion. You ask people online, Twitter goes crazy that I killed the Cruiserweight division.
Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah.
Fine by me, because I'm still the last Cruiserweight champion. That's fine. No one can take that from me. So I have a replica hanging in my office, and it means a lot to me. Between that and then going right to later during that same time, the revealing as me as Mr. McMahon's son, as Vince's son, that was crazy.
I was going to ask you about that, because here's the thing. I'll never forget, when I first came into the company, and I didn't know Vince from Adam. I just knew he was the boss. That was it. So anyway, finally I started getting hot, and then we started doing some stuff together. We're just working together. He's not even on the screen yet as Mr. McMahon. And I'm getting a chance to know the guy a little bit, and there's not much of a relationship there. And he's a hard guy to get to know if, you're not in the right spot to get to know him. Well, throughout the course of my career, obviously, I got to know the man very well and learned a lot from him, and we became very good friends. Yeah. And we had our problems, but we've always remained friends. So my question to you is, you get a chance, you're his illegitimate son. Did you get a chance to pick his brain? What did you learn from Vince, or what did you take away from it? Because I always tell people this. I think Vince McMahon is probably the most unique human being I've ever met and spent time around. I mean, because he is. He's fascinating. Yeah. He's a friggin' genius. He's a third-generation promoter. He wears a lot of hats. He's you've heard some of the stories from the road. Yep. So, I mean, the guy's kind of he's a living legend. But some of the things that he's done is just off the charts. What was your takeaway from spending any kind of time with Vince as a man, as a promoter, and just someone as a mentor?
I'll say this: I was still so intimidated by him. I really almost feel like mad at myself about that, because I didn't ever really ask him stuff about the business and about his, how he viewed things and that kind of stuff and what happened. Because I viewed him so much like, oh my God, he's my boss. I can't say the wrong thing. I can't ask him the stuff. But I think, and I could be completely 100% wrong, but Vince always wants to be viewed as almost like a coworker instead of a boss. He doesn't want to. He wants you to be able to approach him with things, and he likes being approached with ideas and things like that, because, well, let's be honest, he can't think for every member of the WWE roster. He can't, and so he likes to be approached by that. And whenever you call him Vince, I always heard whenever people would call him Mr. McMahon, no, my name is Vince. That's who I play on TV, is Mr. McMahon. And that always kind of stood out to me, like, okay, he really sees himself at the same level as everyone. That was, if you viewed him as a boss, with the respect part, you were golden.
Right.
I came out thinking, with that as so. But it was awesome. It was so much fun. Seeing him mess with, the Bubba camera guys and Bruce Pritchards and all that, and Coachman, and seeing him mess with those guys so much and give them so much hell at times, when the camera was between takes. And he is a consummate perfectionist, where even if it's the slightest thing, all right, let's shoot that again. And it has to be perfect in his mind, so I always respected that.
Hey, what was your take on getting over? And let me preface this with a story that I've told a million times. My listeners, bear with me once again. There was a guy that went to the ring in Madison Square Garden. He got a pretty damn good pop. The Garden's that short entrance, right? So, all the boys would watch the matches from right behind that blue curtain. Well, Vince and I were watching this guy. He went out there, got a pretty good pop, and we kind of looked at each other, and our eyes opened up like, man, that's a pretty good pop. And he looked at me, and he says, yeah, I really hope he can get over. And it was at that moment that I realized, Vince McMahon doesn't just wave a magic wand around your head and get you over. You've got to get yourself over. Now, that being said, they got to help out with some booking and put the rocket pack on you. But once they do, it's up to you. You got over. What do you think was your biggest attribute to you getting over? Because to help you out, I would say, just for me, I just started pushing the envelope. I laid all my stuff in. I started talking trash, and people started to gel, get into my character. So I'll leave it there. To me, for you, what was your key to getting over? Because you did, and I can't say that about all the people that got released or all the people on the roster now. You got over. What do you think was your success?
I appreciate that. Coming from you, that means quite a bit. Nowadays, it is a little harder to push that envelope because you have the PG stuff and everything is very, very written at times.
Yes.
So you have to go with what you're given a lot of the time, and you have to take risks. Yes, but also you still at times you have that fear of taking the risk because what if I go too far with the risk?
Right.
With the risk I take, then you could be fired for taking that risk. Very simply. I think my connection with the kids, that really helped. You can't put a midget as a heel, just on his own, I realized. And as much as I wanted that at times, and as much as I pitched, different ideas as me being a heel, it wouldn't, maybe it would have worked. And I really do think that it would have worked at times, but I think the reason I got quote unquote over is because of my connection with the kids, and they loved me. And I appreciate that so much.
But you hit it right on the head with that one word, is connection. Because you can go out there and you can do something, but if you don't connect, and I don't give a damn whether you're you at 4'4" or Khali at 7'2" or me at 6'1", what you've got to do is connect. And what I saw, just in speaking of connecting, it was nice to watch this last roadblock, whatever, the speed bump, whatever the damn pay-per-view was, where AJ Styles, Payback, took on Roman Reigns, and all of a sudden AJ Styles, who I've been hearing all this great stuff about, and I've seen great stuff about him, all of a sudden he goes out there and shines like $1 million, and he puts it all on the line, and he connected. I was looking for why he was phenomenal, and he showed it on that night on a big stage, and had a great match. But it's connecting with people, and it's establishing a relationship. And so that's why you got over, because you were able to connect and identify and form a relationship. Because whether you're working as a heel or baby, whether that connection is someone hates you or as a babyface, someone likes or loves you, that's what the connection's all about.
Yep. When I realized that, and when I realized they would have me do the Be a Star campaign, the anti-bullying rallies and that, how much of the kids actually relate to me. Now, I don't know if it was because they thought I was their age and just had a fake beard, or what it was, but they really related to me, and they almost, especially those Be a Star rallies, they listened to me quite a bit, almost more than the other talents, because I don't know, I had stories about the bullying at times and all that stuff, and they could connect with that. So I always loved doing those rallies, and they were always a good time. And you look at that, and then when you realize, okay, they do want to see you do the comedy, they don't want to see you be a wrestler,
right?
Then it makes sense to you, and you stop taking yourself so damn seriously, and you give them what they want, because that's what's making you get over, and that's what the people want to see.
Dude, and you hit it on the head again, giving the people what they want. I mean, don't give them what you think they want. Give them what they want.
To give them what they want, me and myself and El Torito had that WLC match, and Finley was one of our agents for that match, and he said, "Well, we need to do some ha-ha in it." And I said, "I don't want to. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do ha-ha in that. I want to make it just a match." He goes, "Dylan, they want to see you work, yes, but they also want to see they don't want to see two midgets kill each other."
Correct.
I said, "Oh, I get that." And so it finally hit me. We did a little bit. We did about 2 or 3 spots in that WLC match. But then it was in front of the Jersey crowd, and we should have got booed out of the building. But and I say it a lot, that night it was the best match of the show. Not only on the pre-show, but on the main show, and there was a lot of good ones on that main show. We absolutely killed it that night, and it's my most proud moment ever in the company was that WLC match. And then, but also we got to work. We actually got to work, and then we had another match at the Payback after that. We got to work really and actually perform while doing a little bit of ha-ha here and there. So I appeased the people that wanted that. But it was I was really proud of those two.
Dude, it's satisfying, very satisfying when you go in front of a tough crowd. And some of those Jersey crowds can be tough, and you love to work in front of them. But, man, when you got them, it's a lot better than not having them. Sometimes you can go to Nassau Coliseum, and Mister, coming back as a babyface, that was the kiss of death. You never wanted to make a comeback from an injury in Nassau Coliseum. And I'm not crapping on the people over there. You love them, because when you get over in front of them, if you can go in front of Nassau, New Jersey crowd, what's that, Meadowlands or Garden, you can get over anywhere, but boy, I tell you what, they can be tough. So if you can rock a Jersey crowd, you did have a damn good match.
So it was Jersey, and then we had the next pay-per-view that Torito and I did was just a straight up match in Chicago, which is the number one heel crowd in the country, we know. So I thought, oh man, we got lucky. We didn't get booed out of that Jersey one, but we're done in Chicago, and they loved that one too. So we got very, very lucky, and I think it's because we gave them something that they weren't expecting.
Dude, Chicago's my favorite house to work in, and I don't get me wrong, the Garden, because of how special the Garden is, but when you look at the acoustics, and that pay-per-view was just in Chicago, man, those people rocked it, but the acoustics of that ceiling, the people are so damn rowdy, they love their wrestling, so the Chicago that was like a stronghold for me. So I always loved, and that was that's when I really got a sense, and it wasn't even the pay-per-view, it was a house show, and that's when I got a sense that I was starting to catch traction with the people. But let's go back to you. I want to ask you, man, September 28, 2015, you got suspended for 30 days for violating the company's wellness policy. What in the wide world of sports was that all about?
Oh, man. So remember how I said I was never angry about anything in the company? That's the only thing I am.
What angers you about it?
I did violate the wellness policy. I 100% violated the wellness policy. I could not provide a sample for the test, which in a nutshell, I couldn't pee. I've never been a drug user ever in my career ever, but I understand why they had to do what they did. I fully understand that. They had to suspend me. They had to comply with the wellness policy. That's the one thing I'm kind of upset about because I have a son, and it was because how it was worded was same as the word for everyone.
Right.
Is that I violated the wellness policy, and I failed to comply with the wellness policy or that kind of thing, which I didn't. I failed to provide a sample, and that was my thing that I always said, like, why not say it that way? Well, we can't because that's not how we announce these things. I said, but I'm not a drug user, and this is making you look like a drug user, and I'm not. I said, I have a kid at home. I have a future. I can't be viewed this way, and it was still posted that way, and, it is what it is. I know in my heart of hearts I'm not a drug user. I never have been, and so it's one of those things that it really that's the only thing in 10 years that rubbed me the wrong way. I can honestly say that. So, but I understand where they're coming from, but it just sucks how it all went down.
But for the record, you were never using drugs. It was indeed
never
failure to be able to provide a sample, which happens all the time, by the way.
Yeah, shy bladder. That's what the tester's called. You have a certain amount of time that you have to be able to pee, and I couldn't pee. It's the greatest testing policy and wellness policy in all of sports and entertainment. I'll go on record in saying that. They crack down on everything, absolutely everything. It's all viewed testing, and just couldn't do it. So that's my fault. It's partially my fault, but it is what it is. I know for a fact in my heart of hearts that I'm not a drug user, and that's what I take from it.
Okay, well, we'll leave it at that. Is what it is. And before we go, I want to ask you about Leprechaun's origins. Tell me about being a movie star.
Leprechaun origins, yeah. Double movie star, Steve. Sorry, buddy. 2 movie stars, Leprechaun Origins, headliner, and then also in Muppets Most Wanted.
How was that? Did you enjoy it?
It was awesome. So I've been a Muppet fanatic all my life. So doing Muppets Most Wanted with Tina Fey and Ray Liotta and Danny Trejo and all the other ones, and then just working with the Muppets was absolutely a dream come true. I always say the day my son was born has to take precedent over that, only because I have to say it that way. otherwise I'm an idiot. But it was awesome. And then we did Leprechaun Origins, which was so much fun to do as well. And it's to see my name billed as on a movie poster, it was awesome. It was really, really cool and a lot of fun to do. Something I really hope to get into in the future now. I really would love to get into acting and get into that realm. As we both know, you never know how long your body is going to hold up in this business. So I would love to get into acting more. I had so much fun doing it with Muppets and Leprechaun. It's something I really enjoy.
After about 10 years in the business, 10 and a half, almost 10 with WWE, how's your body feel? Because, dude, you were doing a lot of stuff off that top turnbuckle, splashing guys, you very physical style. And I tell people, man, you're landing on some bodies out there. They're supposed to cushion the blow. And that mat, sometimes it's forgiving, but many times it's not, depending on how you land. So, man, gravity and physics are like interest. That they just keep adding up every single day. How's your body feeling right now? I mean, because you're still a youngster, but how's you feeling?
I feel I say I'm 29 going on 50 at some mornings.
So you feel it?
Obviously, I feel it, but I'm good. I'm good. Obviously, I could do it, losing a few lbs here and there around the belly area, get rid of this melted vanilla sundae body that I have going. But I'm feeling good. I had my shoulder done. I had my shoulder surgery a couple of years ago, and my knee surgery, so those feel great.
What did they do to your shoulder and your knee?
And all that. I had some kind of small tear, and I had a bucket tear in one of them and something in the other. I don't know. I've had so many surgeries in my life. They all kind of mixed together except the back one. But everything else feels good. Knock on wood. I've never had back issues, which my dad would say to me every day. He goes, there's days I hate when you do this, but I know how happy it makes you. But just because he's so worried about, literally a bad bump could paralyze me if it was a bad bump. If it knocks something out of my lower spine, it could be dunzo or pretty bad anyways. So, but I feel good. I feel great.
Throughout your career on the road, you're always traveling with guys on the road, and man, the guys in the WWE, the gals either, are not strangers to the gym. Were you a gym rat? Or do you train?
Not in the beginning. I didn't. That's for sure.
So what do you do now?
I do now. I work. Cena, actually, John Cena's trainer, Rob, put me on a steady workout thing a few years ago. Stuff to do in the gym that's good for a guy of my stature, easy to do, not as impactful. So I hit it as much as I can. I hit it about 5 days a week, every weekday, and on the weekends I take off. But it's every morning when Landon goes to school, I hit the gym. So I enjoy it. And it's whether I see weight loss or not, it's at least I have the peace of mind that I'm trying. So. Yeah, but I feel great. I really do feel good. I can still throw a ball and wrestle with my kid every day, and that's what matters to me. Because the minute I can't do that is the minute I need to step back and say, okay, we need to stop something and fix it.
So we're about to hang up the phone here in a minute. When we hang up the phone, where will your head be? Because you just got released. It's going to be a while before you can do anything on the independent circuit. So what are you doing to bide your time? What are you doing to maintain your sanity? Because, again, when I was let go, or when I left the business, it preyed constantly upon my mind.
Well, not to toot your own horn too much, but the minute I get off the phone, I'm going to take a deep breath and think, I just got interviewed by Stone Cold Steve Austin. That was pretty damn awesome. But the minute I got the call, I reached out to my best friend in the business, Kurt Hawkins, Brian Myers.
Yeah.
He was with Edge for a while. He's always been a best friend of mine. And he got me, within about 3 hours, he got me probably about 15 to 18 dates for independent shows and conventions and signings and stuff like that. So I have him to thank for a lot. And I also run my own independent company back home, ACW Wisconsin, and that throughout the last year of not being on the road, we've done it for about 2.5, 3 years now. It's kind of been my sanity, where as much as frustrated, my frustrations with not being used and all that, I would turn it over and focus a lot on our local company and our local training school. So that's what I do with my time off, that, and obviously hang out with my son, and then just raise him the best I can and to the best abilities of my abilities. So I have a very awesome life. as odd as it might say, even I got to be positive with it and know that I'll always, not always, but I as long as I keep hitting the pavement and hustle, making the hustle now that I haven't had to do in the last 10 years, as long as I do that and I do what's right for myself and for my son, that it's all going to be good in life. And hopefully get some representation or set up some meetings out in LA. Start some acting. I would love to do that. Like I said, I would love to get into that realm. I really, really enjoyed the time, and there's always roles for midgets nowadays. And that Peter Dinklage is killing it on Game of Thrones.
You ain't
He's just
kidding.
doing a phenomenal job. He is. I mean, people literally view him as a 6-foot actor. That's
absolutely.
Like,
he's crushing it.
He isn't viewed as a midget actor, and it's awesome. I couldn't be happier for him. So I would really like to get into that realm. And I always have, but doing those two movies really set it off for me.
And if you get out here to L.A. and start digging around, look me up, and we can shoot the breeze in person or have a cocktail or two.
couple Vodka waters and Broken Skull IPAs, right?
You damn right. Hey, let's talk about you. Your Twitter handle is what?
Yeah. At WWE Hornswoggle still.
Okay, here's a question. You're not with WWE anymore. Are they going to allow you to keep the handle?
I don't know. They have for a few guys. I would hope, because my goal with this whole thing is to show what WWE has done for me. They have given me my dream. For the past 10 years, they've allowed me to live my dream. Something, again, that shouldn't have happened, but they allowed me to do that. And so I have not one bad thing to say about them, about the company, about my time with the company, about the people there. Everything was positive, everything. And if they allow me to keep it, awesome. But if they don't, that's understandable as well. I changed my name on there to straight Dylan Postl, the name on Twitter. But again, if they decide to take it away, it's understandable.
Well, if they decide to take it away, give me a shout and I'll plug it on the podcast so we can keep your following of what it is.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Hey, is there any, you got a website, Facebook, anything else you want to plug on the show? Anything, an appearance, or are we waiting 90 days?
Ryan, we're not going to wait 90 days yet. I'm going to do some independent shows coming up here. You can check out our company, our local company, at ACW Wisconsin, on Twitter, on Facebook, all of that. It's a company out of Oshkosh, Wisconsin. We're doing some local smaller shows around the area. Having a lot of fun doing it for the past 2.5 years. In December, we had Tommy Dreamer and Kurt Hawkins come in, and they tore the house down, and we were having a lot of fun doing it. Hopefully, in the next couple days, set up with Ryan Barkin at Pro Wrestling Tees. Hopefully, open a Pro Wrestling Tees store, give you some competition, which will never happen. But between you and the Young Bucks, man, there's no competition for you guys. I'm gonna be pinching pennies on there. Just have to underprice you by about half. Hopefully, do some business. But no, so it's everything's good. Everything's gonna be good. It's gonna be all right. Gonna stay positive and see what the next step takes me.
All right, we'll see what the next step takes you. God dang, it was good talking to you. I'm sorry to hear you got released. 29 years of age, still a young cat. I'm going to give you something. Here you go. Paul Orndorff told me this a long time ago. I know you're going to hit the indie scene here quickly and capitalize on all the exposure that you've had over the past decade with WWE and go down that road. But whenever it does end, Dylan, I will say this. There is life after wrestling.
I appreciate that. That coming from a guy like you, that means a lot. A guy I've looked up to pretty much all my life. So that means a lot. I said it, life's short, but so am I, which means there's always another step.
Well, dude, good luck with everything. It was good talking to you.
Thank you. You too.
Are you looking to buy a used car? Then you should check out TrueCar.com and the TrueCar app. Because I bet you didn't know that you can use TrueCar to help you buy a used car, too. It ain't just for new car purchases. There are over 500,000 pre-owned vehicles available from TrueCar certified dealers nationwide, and there are over 11,000 TrueCar certified dealers. And TrueCar lets you get upfront pricing information on new and used vehicles and lets you see what other people pay for the car you want so that you feel confident you're getting a fair price. You got to feel confident, folks. With TrueCar, via their TrueCar pricing curve, you see what other people paid for the car, and you lock in your guaranteed savings. Then you can connect with a local certified dealer of your choosing, take them your TrueCar Guaranteed Savings Certificate, and make your car buying experience quick and easy. Over 2 million cars have been sold to TrueCar users by the TrueCar Certified Dealer Network, and TrueCar users saved an average of over $3,000 off MSRP. So when you're ready to buy a new or a used car, visit TrueCar.com or download the TrueCar app to enjoy a better car buying experience. Some features not available in all states. All right, everybody, give me to go home. Q, it's time to wrap up this podcast and ride off in the sunset. But before I do that, let me give you guys something to watch. I just got finished talking to Hornswoggle, Dylan Postl, and I want to give you the movie that he starred in with the WWE, and it's called Leprechaun Origins. Check that out. I'm going to check it out myself and file a report with you. And with that being said, to get on to some Steve Austin news, Redneck Island has ridden off into the sunset and will not return. I want to thank everybody for supporting the show and I appreciate it very much. I had much fun in Mexico and in Lake Hartwell, Georgia, drinking beer and tequila and hanging out with some very fun kids. Thank you very much for the support. Hey, folks, I got some badass t-shirts, and they're available at BrokenSkullRanch.com and ProWrestlingTees.com/Steve Austin. I got Broken Skull IPA from El Segundo Brewing Company, and you can find a link to that on BrokenSkullRanch.com. In California, we're in Whole Foods and Total Wines. If you are outside of California, if you go to BrokenSkullRanch.com, there is a link to InsideTheCellar.com to order the beer. This is the absolute best IPA in the United States of America, and I firmly believe that. And you can get it by going to BrokenSkullRanch.com. And if you want a badass pocket knife, which I highly suggest everybody should have, including women, that's why I've got one in pink, then check out the Steve Austin Broken Skull knife from Cold Steel Knives at BrokenSkullRanch.com. Hey, I appreciate you guys supporting the sponsor of the Steve Austin podcast. Because they're the ones who let me do this for you for free twice a week. Big thanks real quick before my wife walks into the door. She just got back from Zumba. DDPyoga.com/Austin and DDP Yoga Now app. To 54clothing.com. Use the promo code Austin at sign up to get 50% off your first box. To TrueCar, to Uber, and of course to Amazon. They've been supporting this podcast since day one. Just use my Amazon links whenever you're doing any online shopping, and Amazon will kick back a few bucks to the podcast. Ain't going to cost you nothing extra. Ain't no hidden fees or charges. You can buy whatever you was planning on buying to help with the podcast in the process. And you can find my Amazon links by going to podcast1.com, clicking on the Killer Deals button in the top right corner of the page, and then hitting the Steve Austin Show button. I bet you didn't know I could talk that fast. Mama just walked in the door. She going to make tacos tonight. I got a Broken Skull IPA in the top left-hand portion of my refrigerator right by the freezer button, so I'm fixing to drink a damn beer. Anyway, Amazon links for Amazon USA, UK, and Canada. Just go to podcast1.com, click the Killer Deals button, top right corner, then click on the Steve Austin Show. I appreciate your support, and if you bookmark that motherfucker, you find it easy in one click. Ain't costing you nothing extra. We ain't asking for no handout, but it helps us pay our production costs. And, hey, Stacy got to buy a new pair of shoes. Folks, keep listening. The 60-second AP News headlines are coming up next. And before I shut this motherfucker down, I want to give a shout-out to my man, Vince Russo and the Brand on podcast1.com. Vince Russo bringing his badass podcast to the airwaves 5 days a week. You can listen to this hard-working son of a bitch break down the business of pro wrestling, pop culture, whatever the fuck he wants to talk about. But anyway, I enjoy having Vince on my show. Every time I have him on the show, I'm going to be on his show here very quickly. Check out Vince Russo, the Brand, on Podcast One. And that's the bottom line, because I said so. Until then, shit. My name is Steve motherfucking Austin, and I will catch your ass down the road.
Download new episodes of Steve Austin Unleashed every Thursday at podcastone.com. That's podcastone.com.
Stay tuned for the latest AP News headlines from Podcast One right after this.
When shopping for car insurance, consider this. Geico has been saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. So if you're serious about savings, it's simple. Go to geico.com. After 75 years, they know how to save you money.
AP Update, I'm Ross Smithson. Adam Schiff, the ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, says U.S. officials are talking to French intelligence personnel as they try to determine what caused a Paris to Cairo flight to fall out of the sky over the Mediterranean.
Is there any information that we have that would shed light on any of the passengers? But there's nothing yet to confirm the cause of the plane crash.
FBI Director James Comey says intelligence agents from around the world, including some of his, are collaborating on possible causes of the Egypt Air crash.
So far, at least, we have no claim of responsibility or evidence that this was an intentional act, but the FBI, as you would expect, is working with our partners around the world to try and gain a better understanding of what happened. Given that we don't see any indication yet.
None of the 66 people on board American. AP Update, I'm Ross Simpson.